Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 8th of July 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's morning session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts that we looked at last week. So on Friday specifically. So yep, as always, before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so I really hope you all had a fantastic weekend. You are all feeling fresh and relaxed. Before we jump into the charts, a very quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here, and to which you can always subscribe to, just to kind of in order not to miss any of the videos that we produce. Also, a quick mentioning of our JFD research page, where you can go and have a look at different analysis that we do on a daily basis. So of course, there's every Monday we produce our strategic report here, to which you can subscribe and get it through your email. So I believe that could be useful as well. So, but right now, let's jump into the charts. The first one I want to touch on here is gold. Now, looking at this one, of course, as you can see, and as you know, if you follow this one, on Friday took a strong hit after the USNFP number, which came out much better than expected. And but this morning is already, you can see that this morning it's already trying to climb back above its upside support line. Of course, on Friday, after it slid lower here, you can see it rebounded and tested this upside support line from underneath. It kind of continued to balance below it, even though we did have a few small overshoots here back above it. But today is kind of the day when it's actually traveling back up again here. And what another positive thing here for gold is the fact that it's kind of pushing above its pivot. Now, of course, some could say that everything is looking quite good here for gold. The only thing is that, just to be on the safe side, for the better confirmation of the upside, ideally we would like to see a push above the 1412 zone, approximately around here. Then we'll consider a possible move towards the 1424-25 zone, which is marked near the highs of the 27th of June and near the highs of the 4th of July. And if that fails to hold, of course, then yep, further acceleration to the upside could be possible. This is when we will aim for the 1439. We're only going to aim for this one here for now, because again, we'll see how it's going to perform, because if this 1439 area holds again, now this is where we could, and we see the, let's say, the price retracing back down again. So in a way, this could start forming something of a range here. But again, this is just an idea first. The big question here is, can it stay above this upside support line? If it stays and if it travels above the 1412, then yep, we'll aim for slightly higher levels. If it reverses, drops below the upside support line again, in order for us to, let's say, consider the downside, ideally we'll wait for a drop below initially the 1386.5, approximately there, marked by the low of last week, and just then for better confirmation, drop below the 1382 zone could in a way do the trick here for the sellers, and we could see this one sliding further down. But again, we will only aim for the 200 EMA first, and then we'll take it from there, see what it wants to do. And by the way, the 200 EMA is in the 4-hour chart. So yep, that's what we're gonna do for now. DXY, very quickly on this one. So I've looked at the DXY a few times last week, and basically I kept saying that to keep an eye on these two levels, and basically for almost the whole week previous week, DXY was kind of stuck in this little range, and on Friday I told you guys to keep a close eye on this this upper side and the lower side. So in a way, these two potential breakout points, and you can see that DXY managed to push to the upside after the NFP release, and accelerated and managed to test this downside resistance line, and this is where my target was as well. And I told you guys to keep a close eye on this downside resistance line, because if it holds, well, I mean, this could mean that we may see a small correction, maybe back to the downside. For now, of course, you can see that it did hold, it did push, we did saw the price then pushing a little bit lower here, and kind of testing this other quite important area of support near the 97.18 zone, approximately around there. So previously, that kind of a while ago, it was a nice area of resistance. Now it took kind of the role of support, and you can see that it already held the price twice. For now, it's stuck here. It's stuck slightly below this downside resistance line and above this 97.18 zone. So what we're going to do here is, of course, we're going to take a very careful and cautious approach, and we'll wait for a clear break. Now, again, initially we'll start looking for higher levels if we see a push above this downside resistance line and a push above the 97.37 zone. But in a way, if you want, you could in a way consider now just maybe round it up a little bit here, take it from the 97.40, just to have that nice, good, beautiful number, and then you could aim for slightly higher levels. And by slightly higher levels, I mean initially we were going to target the 97.77 marked by the high of the 18th of June, or in other words, well, I just wanted to actually say the highest point of June, but the highest point of June actually is this one right here. And let me just quickly put this one on the chart. That's the area around the 97.80. So also good potential target, just slightly above the high of the 18th of June. So yep, keep your eyes on that one, guys. But then again, like I said, we'll consider the upside only if we see a push above the well, let's put it out with 97.40 level. So keep your eyes on that one. In terms of the downside, if this suddenly, let's say, reverses and drops back below the 96.88, then yep, we will aim for slightly lower levels. But if this area here gets broken, the 96.68, then yep, we'll aim for this upside support line taken from the low of the 25th of June. Jumping into a few pairs now very quickly, GBPNZD. So something that you probably don't look at very often, but it's quite interesting. So of course, overall, the pair is trading below this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 5th of May. But as you can see, it started climbing higher after it found good support near the 1.8705 zone. It started climbing higher. Of course, still our kind of breakout barrier is the 1.8950. It's kind of on Friday it fell shy of just a few pips from hitting that level, and then retraced back to the downside. So for now we kind of remain somewhat neutral here, because in a way, let's say for us to start maybe looking at downside again, maybe we'll aim for this level here first, the 1.8786, and then we'll maybe target this this last week's low near the 1.8705. Now again, for now, like I said, we are somewhat neutral. If this let's say makes a nice good push to the upside here again and eventually breaks the 1.8950, yep, we could then consider a further move higher here towards this downside resistance line that I just mentioned. So yep, we'll keep an eye on down, and this is where in a way the rate could stall. We'll start looking at, and then we'll have a look what it wants to do from there. If it wants to break that, then in a way this could lead to a change of trend, and we could then maybe start considering higher levels again. So, but again, for now, it is where it is. First, let's wait for a clear break through one of the levels here. So either the upside here on the at 1.8950 in order to kind of aim for higher levels then, or in terms of the downside, initially we'll start looking for a drop below the 1.8786. But just for that, if you want to kind of, if you're more on the cautious side, in a way you could wait until we see a drop below the 1.8705. This way the pair would confirm a forthcoming lower low and we could see further declines. Euro dollar, very quickly on this one. So I mean, last week I was talking about this one as well. I mean, I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this, and on Friday basically I was telling you in the morning to keep a close eye on this 1.1275 zone. So we did have a slide further, and as you can see, this upside support line was not able to kind of withstand the bear pressure, and you can see that we managed to break this line to the downside. The pair traveled lower below the 1.1240 and found good support near this other level that I've mentioned, the 1.1215, from which it kind of rebounded a little bit and pushed higher. So this was the kind of the scenario that I was also looking into. So potentially we could see this one pushing to the upside, but as you can see, it didn't kind of even push back towards this 1.1240. It's now started reversing to the downside. So what we could do here is, of course, can adjust this a little bit. So in a way, if we see a drop below the 1.1215, then yep, this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and we could see this one sliding maybe all the way below the 1.12 zone towards the 1.1190 or the 1.1180. The last one here marks the low of the 18th of June. So good potential target, but again, like I said, we'll consider that if we see a drop below the 1.1215. In terms of the upside, well, as you can see by a few arrows that I've got here drawn, we need to see this one pushing back above the 1.1275 before we could, let's say, consider the upside again. For now, it seems that it's a little bit further away. So for now, of course, this is looking more bearish than bullish. But then again, let's see if this day is going to bring any surprises for us. Even though, to be honest, I mean, today is like it looks a bit of like a calm day. So so that's why, guys, we're gonna be very careful on this one. And like I said, for now, it seems that it could continue traveling further down, but we need that confirmation break below the 1.1215 level first. Let me just quickly put some highlighted areas here just for our future reference, so that it would be easier to come back to on our next video on this one. So there we go. So these are the levels that we're keeping a close eye on. EURGBP. EURGBP is very interesting, to be honest. I mean, I've been covering this one for the whole week last week and the week previously. Basically, I kept saying about this level here. Initially, I had the 0.8975, but I had to adjust that a little bit because the 0.8980 level, that was the more important one to watch. And as you can see, it kind of struggles to stay above that area. I mean, it does have brief overshoots here, but kind of struggles to push above the 0.8980. So everyone's of course waiting probably for a test of that 0.90 level, but I mean, to be a bit of a contrarian here, I mean, a lot of people are hoping for this level here, and probably that's why this pair doesn't want to go there. So in a way, long story short, guys, for now it seems that it may travel a little bit lower, but the only thing is that we still have this upside support line taken from the low of the 20th of June. So in a way, this could be a nice target to reach. The pair is currently sitting at its S1 here on the pivot points, and in a way, this S2 kind of falls exactly bang on this upside support line. So good potential area for a test. So that's why we're going to be targeting that one for now. But if this line breaks, then yep, further declines could be possible. Now, again, I've mentioned this as well in one of my previous videos a while ago where I was covering EURGBP, and I kept saying about this potential range formation, but then again, we're still kind of far from that. the upper side seems to be working nicely, and like I said, for now, if we see a slide lower here, and if we see, let's say, a strong drop to the 0.8870, then a test here, then that could in a way confirm this potential range. But again, for now, this is quite far away. For now, let's focus on this upside support line, and again on this 0.8980. If it gets a nice pop here above this, and let's say if we see at least a 4-hour candle closing here above this, then in a way this could in a way this could kind of create this more of a positive atmosphere, and we could then potentially aim for that psychological 0.90 level. So for now, be very careful, be very cautious, and yep, let's see, keep an eye on the price action here for now. USDCHF, very interesting, very interesting pair. I looked at this one on Friday, and what I was saying, guys, here, that of course we managed to get our break here to the upside. That's wonderful, good news for the bulls. But during my traders tea time on Friday, I told you to keep a close eye on this downside resistance line, so which kind of held nicely the rate down. You can see that the rate managed to travel back below its 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart. So in a way, this scenario is for now working out nicely. But let's get rid of this, because again, this is the thing, this is the little problem here, because as you can see, the pair already managed to drop lower, but kind of failed to reach this area here near the 0.9885 zone, and it kind of reversed slightly above that, and now it's kind of stuck here in this little zone below the downside resistance line and above this 0.9885 zone. In a way, what we're going to do here is we're going to wait. If we see this one falling below the 0.9885, then yep, we will aim for slightly lower areas, like the this one right here near the 0.9838. But if this gets a nice boost here and we see a push above this downside resistance line and a push above the 0.9932, then yep, in a way we could target slightly higher areas. And by higher areas, I mean maybe we could see this one traveling all the way towards the psychological 1 level, or just slightly above that, the 1.0015 marked by the high of the 18th of June. So for now, let's put it that way. Be very careful. Keep your eyes on these potential breakouts points. We can just really put these highlighted areas around them, and yep, for now, like I said, let's see how this is going to play out. It should be quite interesting, and like I said, keep your eyes on these potential breakout points. Okay guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching until the end. And if you want to join me later on my traders tea time, as always, that's 13:15 GMT time. For now, I hope you have a beautiful trading day, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.